Hello, dears, and welcome to Al-Hussaini Virtual Lab Pathology Talks, Tips, and Practical Tips. Today, I'm going to share with you a very interesting tip that I recently actually came across. This is when we encounter goblet versus pseudo-goblet cells in gastric biopsies. And we all know that the presence of goblet cells would mean intestinal metaplasia in gastric biopsies with all the risks for the development of subsequent malignancy. Now, it's important to differentiate from what is known as pseudo-goblet cells. So how can we simply sort out this differential diagnosis? So this is a gastric biopsy from a recent case. And as you can see, there are a lot of cells with abundant mucin in the cytoplasm and basally located, sometimes pushed to the side, to the base, a nucleus. And you would wonder, is this goblet cell? Is there intestinal metaplasia or not? What about these? So let's see how can we sort out this differential diagnosis. This is from the same case, again, one of the glands, and are these goblet cells or are these pseudo-goblet cells? And simply what we can utilize is actually the PAS Alcian blue special stains. How would this be of help? Because normally in the stomach, the mucin in the stomach is neutral, and thus it would stain with PAS. So all what we saw actually here and here, the pseudo-goblet glands or the pseudo-goblet cells in some of the glands with abundant mucin in the cytoplasm, that would raise the differential diagnosis of goblet cells would stain like the stomach. So this would be positive for PAS, neutral mucin, whereas the real goblet cells will stain like violet stain because they would be positive for Alcian blue. So very simple special stain, the PAS, the Alcian blue on higher power magnification. So this is the real goblet cells, which would be consistent with intestinal metaplasia, while these are the pseudo-goblet cells, which are normal hyperplastic reactive phenomenon in the stomach. So this is really very helpful, and we do it combined on the same slide. We ask for PAS, Alcian blue on the same slide, and this would be very helpful to sort out the differential diagnosis. This is also useful, for example, in Barrett's esophagus, intestinal metaplasia or not. We utilize the same technique, and it's very helpful. Now, what was really interesting is that our fellow Dr. Tharwat Dajani actually thought that there might be some endocrine hyperplasia in the case. So she ordered Synaptophysin. And to our surprise, those goblet cells, not the pseudo-goblet cells, only the goblet cells were positive for Synaptophysin. And this is on high power magnification. And the pattern of positivity is faint positivity in the mucin itself, and then like a line, a circumferential line here as well is very nice. Around the goblet, around the mucin globule or the mucin content. And actually, it appears that this has been described in the literature in first time. I think the article was in 2012. I have the citation for the article with the caption of the video, and it actually was describing that goblet cells in the duodenum, and a subsequent article in the gastric intestinal metaplasia are positive with Synaptophysin. So this is not like a non-specific staining. It actually stains the goblet cells. So to sum up, when we encounter a case of gastric biopsy, we're not sure whether there is intestinal metaplasia or not. Are these true goblet cells or pseudo-goblet cells? Very easy. We do PAS Alcian blue on the same slide, the pseudo-goblet cells will stain PAS because they contain a neutral mucin like the usual stomach, while the goblet cells of intestinal metaplasia will stain violet, Alcian blue positive, because they contain acidic mucin. And this further can be reinforced, if we wish, with synaptophysin staining, which shows positivity in the mucin itself, as well as accentuation of the membrane around the mucin a globule or content. I hope you find this tip useful in your daily practice. Thank you.